p.m. on Friday. Within minutes, a massive weather system had hit the ground and was decimating our neighborhoods. In those minutes between the warning and the time that we were experiencing a massive weather event, there was a failure, a human failure, a failure in protocol to get the sirens up and running, to let the community know that there was a massive weather event hitting our community. There was a failure of protocol. It was a human failure. This protocol was put in place in 2021. It was not exceptionally clear about whose roles and responsibilities it was to do what. It is now my responsibility and my role to ensure that moving forward, this protocol is crystal clear, and it is. This protocol is calling for our fire department, who is staffed 24 hours a day, to issue those warnings. And from this point forward, the fire department, with whom I have the utmost confidence, is going to be doing that work moving forward. But at the end of the day, this was a human failure. We know that our emergency management system also issued 317 direct messages to the community to let them know. Our sirens are designed to let people know who are outside to take shelter. But at the end of the day, this was a failure. Again, I'm taking full responsibility to make sure that moving forward, the protocol that is in place from this point forward is absolutely crystal clear, and our fire department will be moving forward with the role of making sure that that is deployed from this point forward.
Mayor, did any sirens go off?
We're still under evaluation. What I can tell you is that the sirens were not deployed in a way that they should be. They should have been.
So some went off, some didn't?
It's not exactly clear, okay, Mark, but I will tell you that there was a failure.
Does that mean someone just didn't push a button? Can you elaborate?
I believe that's exactly what happened, Mark. A button wasn't pushed, and the sirens were not deployed.
And whose
okay?
responsibility is
Again, the protocols were not crystal clear, and that is where the problem was. The problem was in the protocols. We are fixing that problem, and the protocols are crystal clear from this point forward. The fire department will be doing that. I have full confidence that our fire department and our chief is going to be able to do that moving forward.
Will you release the text of what protocols were in place at that time?
I don't see why we couldn't do that. I don't have the answer to that for you right now, Sean, but I don't see why not.
Just a bit confused here. Okay, you're saying it was unclear whether the fire department or EMS was, I don't mean EMS, emergency
Under
management.
which circumstances, yes, it was not crystal clear. We've made that crystal clear moving forward.
Who is supposed to take that responsibility? Like who specifically?
Look, the buck stops with me moving forward. Okay, from this point forward, the buck stops with me. The protocol is crystal clear. Again, this was based on protocol that was put in place in 2021, which was not clear. We're making it clear from this point forward.
Do we know if any sirens went off?
Mark, I can't answer that right now. I don't want to be wrong. It's possible that someone off. At the end of the day, I'm calling this a failure.
How
Okay.
many sirens do we have?
I don't have the answer to that. We'll get that for you. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I want to ask about the National Guard. Governor
Yes.
Kehoe has said that there are no appropriate missions right now for the National Guard, but they're going to evaluate if missions in the near future are
Yes.
needed. From the mayor's standpoint, do you want the National Guard here?
Look, in order for the National Guard to be deployed here, it has to be a very specific ask. In order to make that specific ask, we had to do a full evaluation, an assessment of the needs. We are completing that as we speak. We had to get all sorts of information about what the needs really are. As we complete that, those direct and specific asks will be made, and they will be forthcoming, and we'll share them with you all as soon as we can. We are really waiting on FEMA, okay? And I have full confidence. I know our governor has been right by our side, has made that ask of our president, and we are hoping and praying, okay, that that is made, that declaration is made.
Just to clarify, are you considering asking for the National Guard?
We are making that consideration, absolutely. It has to be. We are considering it, absolutely. Look, it has to be a very specific ask. You have to outline exactly what
Decided yet.
we are outlining the needs and what and how we can deploy them.
Considering that there were fatalities here, I think it's fair to expect some families to be pretty upset that there wasn't a siren. Are there people in your administration being held accountable?
We are taking the appropriate steps at this point, Mark. Right now, our priority is ensuring that moving forward, the protocol under this leadership is crystal clear, and it is crystal clear as of this point forward. And I understand that our families are very hurt. They should be. We've lost lives, we've lost houses, we've had so many people injured. I absolutely hear you, and I can tell you that moving forward, we are all going to be we are accountable.
At this point, has anyone been disciplined?
We are still evaluating that, Mark.
What was the commissioner's direct responsibility during that time?
Look, let me just tell you, the protocol was not crystal clear, okay? The protocol needed to be crystal clear. It wasn't. It's clear as of right now. It is clear moving forward.
Two more questions. Can you elaborate on how it wasn't clear? Did it not name any organization that was supposed to, or did it name multiple organizations that were supposed to?
Under certain circumstances, it was. My point is, it wasn't crystal clear, okay? And we'll share with you what we can, I promise.
We're hearing a lot from residents about when traffic pickup, if dumpsters are going to be put in neighborhoods, or if trucks are going to come along. Do we have any details on that yet?
Oh, that is going to be forthcoming. We hear that. We know that garbage is a consideration. That's why we've worked to make sure that our streets are cleared, and we're working on alleys now to make sure that we can get those dumpsters in place. Our dumpsters are being deployed right now for tree removal, but we absolutely hear and see the need for other refuse removal. We are working on not just getting those dumpsters in place, but having dump sites so that we can start to accumulate the waste as we line up what and where in dumps in landfills that'll end up. Yeah. Thank you all.
I just, real briefly, we want to share that the curfew remains in effect tonight at 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in police districts 5 and 6. That is going to continue until further notice. The mayor's office is evaluating that along with police and fire officials each day. We also want to remind folks that we have more strong to severe thunderstorms coming in tonight. Please make sure that you have multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts on your phone or through Notify STL. If you are in the impacted tornado area, you should make sure that you have alternative methods of seeking shelter. We do not know the stability of some of those standing structures that were in the tornado affected area. So make sure that you follow both the police department, fire department, and the city of St. Louis's social media accounts for further updates, okay?
Has the curfew been in effect every night, I presume?
Yes.
The curfew's been in effect since the tornado.
Has there been any looting at all?
We have had some very limited reports to looting, but we can't confirm that looting took place. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate your time.
Anybody arrested for violating the curfew? Seriously?
No.
I
Thank you.
hadn't heard there was, but
Thank you, guys.
Andy Ruzicka, our continued storm coverage here in St. Louis. We're at the Engine House 54. I'm with Alderwoman Pam Boyd. Pam, tell me about what you've been doing with the storm recovery.
Well, multiple things. It started with us had to postpone the Annie Malone parade, and so we took everything and put it up at the site on Page to do a crisis center up at Annie Malone. And then I start working within the 11th and 12th ward to help those older people because their areas were devastated. And so I'm just trying to help wherever I can. You know, I'm not looking for any kind of recognition, just to make sure I know those ladies are supported.
And you've been passing out flyers. Can you tell me what was on the flyers?
The flyers had all the information for housing, for assistance, and so I got a big stack that we now can take up to the Very wide for them to pass out to make sure people know where they can go get assistance, where they can get housing, temporary housing, where they can get some kind of services and food, utility assistance, you know, tarps, whatever they need. And so that's what those flyers were saying.
And your office has been very busy since 6 a.m.?
Yes, since 6 o'clock. I've been out running on the phone, talking to people, going to neighborhoods, trying to help them any way I can to make colleagues are supported.
Now, you've been an older person for a long time. Have you ever seen a disaster quite like this to devastate the city?
No, we haven't had a tornado. I called this, I think Alderwoman Keys called it, she called it Katrina all over again. And so we had a mini Katrina here. And so we haven't had anything like this since 2011, but what was so interesting, the city wasn't touched. So it was all Chesterfield, St. Peters, those counties were touched. So now the city got touched.
I mean, I'm sure it was devastating to see some of those homes.
Oh my God. And some of them are old and historic and they crumbled. And so that was heartbreaking. So I'm just here to help them any way I can to get them what they need.
Do you have any other words of wisdom, not wisdom, but advice or words that the residents that are impacted, anything you need to tell them?
What I need them to be is careful because this is not normal. And so now you have residents that keeps going back into their homes and they need to understand now you got asbestos, you got lead, you got the dust. They need to have the mask, the gloves, the proper foot covering because they can get a nail in their foot. And so people need to be careful. They shouldn't go in those properties and they don't even know if they're secure. So we don't want a building falling on somebody. So yeah, we need to be careful. And that's what we explain today to people. Just be careful.
Thank you so much for your time and your continued efforts toward the recovery.
Thank you.
We'll have more storm coverage right here on STL TV.